This is part one of a part two series. In this one I will cover the design characteristics and shape and the outside form. In part two I'll do the hollowing and laser use and reverse chucking and so forth. Welcome to my shop again. Glad to see you. I'd just like again to take this opportunity to thank Mike Hunter with Hunter Tools and Doug Thompson with the Thompson Tools as being my sponsors. We'll leave a link to their website down in the comment section and the description section so that you can check out their website when you get a chance. Today we're going to do a natural edge hollow form vessel that I use the cap of the root burl. This is a white birch root burl, and I use the cap of the root burl to show the character of all of the grain and color of the wood, leaving a natural edge opening. And so it's a beautiful piece of wood top to bottom. Okay, here's now a little closer view of it. Really pleased the way this turned out. It's a little fun little project. So let's get started. Okay, now we're ready to figure out how to mount this. With the root burl, we've got lots of character. We've got the bulbous portion of the burl on the outside where the bark is, and the inside where I've chopped it up to try to separate it from the rest of the tree. Let's get a little bit more of a close-up here. Okay, so this is going to be the top of my vessel where the natural edge is going to be, and most of the character of the bolus here is what I want to capture in the top of my hollow form. You can see where all the branches were. This is where I took the chainsaw cut and cut it away from the tree once I got it a little bit shaped, but at least I've got the essence of where I want the vessel to be in here. And so let's put it on centers, and we're going to get it on the balance point to start with, and then we'll move it around to find the best position for this, just like we've done with the other, like the heart-shaped bowl and other things that I've been doing lately. We're probably going to move the center point a number of times before we get it right. This is going to be the top of my vessel, and I need to have that towards the headstock so that when I prepare for my faceplate, the bottom of the vessel is going to be down here. So it's going to be turned like this on the lathe. I'm going to just try to find a balance point. First of all, I marked about the center of the burl on the other side just so I can see where middle might be to a starting point. But we're just going to give it a little bit of a... Okay, so I got some weight going down on the bottom. I got to lift it up from there to get to the balance point. So I lift it up a little bit. Ah, we got her. All right, so now I'm between centers and on the balance point. So the roughing out process is an information gathering process. I'm going to start to get it around a little bit in places and stop and look and make sure that it's going to do what I want it to do, or I'm going to move it. Okay, now I've ramped the speed up. I want the speed to be pretty fast so that those air spaces are going around quickly, and the wood that I'm going to cut is going to go instead of tonka tonka. Starting between centers and on the balance point is critical to hogging off and having fun with it. But it's starting to see where my largest diameter might be, someplace right in here. So it's looking good. Just using my bowl gouge here with push cut to get the wood away fast and easy and get rid of the weight and the balance, out of balance weight. Now this is a root burl and there's lots of dirt and stuff in there, so it dulls the tool really quickly. I'm going to go around just on the other end and use the other side of the tool just because it's sharp. Okay, I haven't, in recent history anyway, showed how easy and simple it is to sharpen. I'm going to set up the jig so that it's 2 inches away. Then we go over to the grinder. Do one side of the grind. I'll stand in the camera maybe a little bit here. Do the other side of the grind. And we're done. That's as easy as it is, as quick and easy and accurate to grinding. I'm getting close now as I'm roughing it out, give myself information. I've got a little bit of a void right here that I could leave as a void, but we'll see how that develops. Where the branches and things on the other side where it's starting to get round. So I'm going to take another cut or two on the outside circumference, and then we'll work on the top and see how that flows in. And just sneaking up on the form right now in case I want to move it. I'm still between centers. Okay, again I'm looking at it and I don't see any reason to move it. I've been pretty lucky to have this come full round here without having to move the axis, but so far I'm not going to move it. Now I'm going to work around on the top to see what's going on here after some of this bark gets away, and see what this top edge is going to look like. Lights, camera, cartoons, whatever. This is just a push cut again, or still. I've sharpened probably 3 times already. Okay, now I'm getting mostly wood here. It's looking good. Still might have a void here, which is okay with me. I don't mind if I have a hole in it. Well, I want to try to get rid of the bark if there's little bark only like this, but there's places like that all the way around. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit more. What I'm after here, in the largest diameter of the vessel, I want to keep about 2/3 of the way up so that the balance is more in tune with the golden rectangle proportions. So this is going to be probably about 4.5 inches thick. I want to be the largest diameter to be about 1.5 inches in here someplace from the top, so I can take this top down just a little bit more and still stay within the golden rectangle proportions and leave a big enough base here. I'm going to screw a faceplate in this. This is going to be a hollow form. I'm going to be stressing this with the boring bar and hollowing, so I'm going to use a faceplate, which is the strongest chucking method. Never use a chuck on this kind of a thing because it's a weak way to hang on to the wood. It's because we're grabbing a sponge and it'll allow vibration, so I would never use a chuck in a hollow form. Okay, now the chainsaw marks are almost gone. There's a little remnants of it here, but the cracks are still there. I'm going to take down some more, and the bark inclusion is still there. So we'll take down a little bit more. All right, some of you out there, I am sure, are saying, well, he's wasting all this wood away, but what we're after here is to make the best piece we can, not the biggest. Right, now that I've got some of the waste wood away, and I can see that the cracks are gone, and the bark inclusion is going to go away, everything is where I want it. I'm still just roughed out, of course, but now I know that this is the axis that I want to stay on, and I don't have to move it between centers anymore. Then we're going to go in and clean up the bottom and make a little concave surface so my faceplate seats out at the rim and there's no hump in the middle. Okay, so now we're going to put the faceplate on, and with the wet wood I can put screws right into it without pilot holes. So I'm going to use my impact driver. Now you might be thinking, oh, he's going to waste away some of this pretty wood. What if I made a tenon for the chuck? I'd have to waste away a little bit. So I'm only wasting away just a little ½ inch of that, the threads going down into the wood, so no big deal. Let me take this opportunity to show off the tilt away feature that the Robust has. We've got it in our final position on the faceplate now, and so now we're just going to refine the shape, get the shape we want, and get ready to hollow. We're going to do the outside shape first. Down to, I'm going to leave a base on it probably about 5 inches in diameter here for a while, just to prevent any vibration from going on. So we're going to finish this whole top quadrant and then establish where our rim is going to be. This little shoulder of a rim is going to be nice to expose the natural edge of the bark and the burl. I'm going to probably leave this relatively thick, maybe about 1/4 inch thick, just so that you can see the character of what's underneath that bark. I'm going to take the bark off, of course, I always do. Now my cuts are getting smaller. I'm not being as aggressive. I'm getting closer to my final wall thickness, so I want to sneak up on it gradually and stop and look off. Okay, I've got a choice here. There's a bark inclusion here that would create a void if I hollowed it out on the inside, but I think the void may be a little bit too shallow, that there wouldn't be much of a hole there. So I'm going to take this away. I'm going to make the vessel a little bit shorter so that I'm going to take this bark away and make this a clean surface and not have a void in it. Here we go. It's almost down. About another 1/8 of an inch I'll be gone. And I kind of like how that is making the neck a little bit bigger. Okay, here I'd like to show you the overhead view. This is in a different camera, so the lighting's a little different, but you can see the overall shape from overhead here. This is a camera I'm going to use for my remote demonstrations when I go over the internet. Got another choice to make. I could leave this a relatively sharp corner here and take the bottom bowl shape down in there, or I could round this off and make it nice and soft. I haven't decided yet what I want to do, so I'm going to leave it sharp right now, or leave the corner there, and I can always take the corner off later once I get the back shape developed. So there's a little feature right there, right at the apex. Do I want to soften that, or do I want to leave it a sharper corner? When you're creating your shapes, you want to make sure you're working on both the top and the bottom at the same time. You need to work both, they influence each other. Okay, after taking a good close look at this now, I realize that this is not good here. The shape is a little bit too flat, so I'm going to round this in and take a little bit off of here to fix this outside shape a little bit. and see what I can do to refine that just a little. I just decided to soften that corner. All right, now one of the things influencing the view of my shape is the bark here. So I want to get that bark off. So I'm going to go in here and just take some of this internal wood away just so that I can separate the bark and see what this edge is going to look like. I'm still using the bowl gouge. It's all I use on this entire outside vessel. I'd use the push cut, the pull cut, the scrape, and the shear scrape, all with the bowl gouge. You want to take this area off slowly and carefully. You don't want to invade the space of where your rim edge is going to be. So stop and look at it and take it slow and easy. I'm pretty gentle with the mallet. I don't want to bang too hard on here, but the bark did come off pretty easy. So now I can see where the total height of my neck is with the bark gone. Gives me a better view of what's going on to make the proportions match a little bit better. There's another overhead view, see how the shape is starting to develop so far. Okay, now off camera, I've done a little bit of work to refine the lines, to get the shape developed nicely, and I even raised the largest diameter up just slightly by taking the back off a bit. And so now that I've got the shape developed, I want to clean it up so I don't have to sand much. So I'm going to switch to shear scraping now. I'm going to lower the handle, close the flute, and we're going to clean this up with very, very delicate little angel hair shavings. Done. All right. Now, what do I do with the shape? I'm still okay. All right, nice and clean. Okay, it's working. Love it. While I'm here, let's talk about another little issue. I am almost ready to start. Probably by the time I load this, I'll be starting to do live remote demonstrations. And this happens to be the camera that's pointing right down on my tool rest so that you can see my tool control. You can see I've got my laptop behind me that gives me all my controlling factors to zoom in and zoom out and get the different cameras working. So I can zoom out here and I can see that I've got another camera on a mic boom that I can move around and be mobile and get any place that I want to view, look over my shoulder and to watch what's going on and to look at me writing on the chalkboard and things like that. So I'll have complete access to everything in my shop to show you as I do a demonstration over the internet. Thanks for watching. Please share it with your friends and other wood turning enthusiasts. Part 2 is coming up soon, so keep in touch with that. Here I am doing the process, but you got to have the right tools to do these kinds of turning. So buy my tools. Thanks. See you next time.